you or has this ready to go.
All right. Yeah. You guys sit down if you would like.
Stand up. You gotta stand up.
Sorry. All right. Okay. Thank you all for coming. It brings joy to my heart to know how beloved my mother was. I'll try to keep this short and sweet, have it all wrapped up in about an hour or two. All jokes aside, my mom's ability to touch a great many of you, fill up a room with joy, and be the hostess with the mostest were among some of her greatest gifts. I know because I was there, being her helper and cleaning up their already clean house beforehand. Her ability to connect with people on such a deep level and so quickly were shown in how quick my future daughter and wife were able to affix themselves to her and our family. All these great gifts that have brought each one of you to this church to celebrate the life of this amazing woman God gave to us. I know we want to be selfish and keep her in our lives, but I think she would want us to be merry and proud that we know where she is. For her strength in Christ was probably one of her strongest gifts. To many of you, she was a patient and kind teacher that never gave up on you. She was also the epitome of the daughter we all want. She was the light of the room. She brought laughter to her brothers and sisters and all of her friends. She was a strong and empathetic wife that knew how to soften a tough man and also be strong for him when life, throws those curveballs at you. She battled for us, which was usually heard in a gymnasium when a ref made a bad call, or when one of her babies got hurt. And she was not biased. Like, if we were the one in the wrong, she would announce that to everybody too. So, she was a good mama. I kind of sidetracked there, but I just want to end with thanking you guys all for coming out. And 1 Thessalonians 4:13 through 14 says, "Brothers and sisters, we do not want you to be uninformed about those who sleep in death, so that you do not grieve like the rest of mankind, who have no hope. For we believe that Jesus died and rose again, and so we believe that God will bring with Jesus those who have fallen asleep in him." And we know where she's at, and we want her here, but, she was battling at the end of her life, and I think we can all agree that she, is in paradise and is living her best life. And anyway, thank you.
Thanks all for being here. I'm the son-in-law, and so, oh gosh. Oh man. Okay. Mama T, she's simply the best. I couldn't have asked for a better mother-in-law from the beginning. All of you know, and all the people coming through tonight were a testament to just who she was as a person, and I am going to miss her very much, but we all know this here, but I'm just so thankful for her infectious spirit, her positivity. She could always lighten the room. And coming down here last night, I looked at Megan, and we both just kind of realized, like, wow, Theresa was a big part of what meant, and so she's going to be deeply missed, and we love her. Well done, good and faithful servant. So anyone else who wants to come up and talk about a memory from Theresa's life or a story, or, well, here you go.
Before I lose my nerve, I guess what comes to mind through all this is just like all of my friends from every season of life, whether it was high school, college, and now as an adult, so many people reaching out and saying, your mom was just special. Like, and the fact that she even knew them was special, because that was the type of mom she was. Like, if I brought a friend home from college, she would just sit down and be like, so, tell me about college. What are you studying? And at the time, I was like, this is annoying. This is my friend. Like, give me some space, like, especially in high school. But I look back on that, and so many of those friends have reached out and been like, your mom was like a mom to me. Like, she listened to me. She talked to me. She made me feel loved. She made me feel accepted. And I realized, like, I want to be just like that for my kids. Like, I want to be that mom. I want to be that person that people come over, they feel that love and they feel that belonging. So that was the person she was, and it wasn't work for her. It was just who she was. So, Mom, thank you for being that somewhat annoying mother, but also just that person that was a safe place for people. We all love you so much.
Waste too much, but I'm Russell Rogers' brother, older brother, and I know that Theresa really liked to be teased, and she could give it back, and I did my share when I was around, and I was always knew that I was loved and loved her back. But my little tease for tonight is kind of, well, you know, it's about how people talk, and people don't know how to talk a lot of times at these various things. Now Megan's kind of studied up on this and does a lot of writing and stuff, and pronouns is kind of important these days, right? Yeah. So I just wanted to tell you about some pronouns, and I studied a lot about language. I'm sort of been a lifetime student, and I play Wordle, but anyways, the pronouns that we use are getting mixed up these days, and I think some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. Somebody calls themselves they and them, and it's only one person. They and them was Roger and Theresa. Now it's just he and him, and Teresa's she, and well, she's with him up there, right? So that's pronouns that we need to get those straight. And there's some other pronouns I just thought I'd like to share with you. About Theresa, she was your Theresa. I believe that's a pronoun, right? Yeah. And all of us here, she was our Theresa one way or another, right? Friend, sister, mother, auntie, whatever she was. She was our Theresa. But also, she's his Theresa. And she's with him now, with Jesus. And so I think it's good to have the pronouns down. And then there's some nouns are important too. Like, what's a pronoun without a noun, right? And of course, Theresa is the proper noun that we were talking about there. But there's some other nouns that should maybe are modifiers or something, like Saint Theresa. Yeah. Mother Teresa, I believe that, don't you? Yeah, sure. Mother Teresa, I heard that one before here. And adjectives, beautiful Teresa, kind Teresa, wise Teresa, funny Teresa. And then there's adverbs, loved Teresa. I think we all love Teresa, and just here to say that, and we love you, and God bless you all.
First. I guess the baby gets to go first, which is okay. We joked before this that we were all going to squeeze our butt cheeks together so we wouldn't cry, and I can't guarantee it's going to work, but we're going to do our best. True, not all of us. Us ladies, I guess. And Theresa would appreciate that too. You all know that, definitely. I need to read mine because I can't put my thoughts together so beautifully as you guys from the shooting from the hip. I would get lost in my words. So, Theresa's faith touched each of us in ways that words cannot capture. It was never about the grand gestures or declarations. It was always in the quiet moments, the simple acts of kindness, and the deep, unwavering trust she had in something far greater than herself. That was the kind of faith that Theresa had. In times of joy and in times of challenge, she turned to her beliefs with a calm heart and a quiet confidence. I'll always remember how Theresa always had these little Bible verses in her house. They'd be stuck to her fridge. They'd be on the windowsill. And we always kind of joked too, because she did this in our cards. She'd highlight things and she'd underline words just to emphasize them a little bit more. And I just love that. So her words, of course, were always so important to her. Her Bible was never far from her side. Even in the hospital while battling through discomfort and uncertainty, she continued her Bible study, steadfast in her belief, growing even stronger in her faith. One night as Theresa faced another difficult moment, she said to me, "I don't want to die, but if I do, I know where I'm going." That simple, powerful statement has stayed with me, offering me so much peace during this painful time. It was a testament to her unshakable confidence in God's promises. And so I choose to hold on to the truth that faith, love, and hope are eternal. While we may no longer see Theresa with our eyes, her spirit will continue to live on in each of us and the ways she taught us to love, to trust, and to believe. Her faith now shines within us, guiding us and comforting us, reminding us that no matter what, faith is the light that never fades. Rest in peace, Theresa. Your faith continues to inspire and strengthen us, and we will carry it with us always. Love you.
Well, I wanted to talk about how quirky, that's the word I'm going to use for Theresa, because she brought the fun, and she brought good fun. Yeah. And you had no opportunity to get away from it and at all. But I want to go back to the whole butt clenching thing. I had understood that we were going to pinch each other. And so I thought Theresa would have loved to have been the designated pincher. She would have loved that. And I thought, well, okay, we can imagine that she's here keeping us sane and not crying. But it made me think of her quirkiness. And there was a Christmas gathering a few years ago where the game I remembered was taboo, where there was a buzzer and you couldn't say certain words. And if you answered incorrectly, you'd get buzzed. And conveniently, maybe Theresa lost the buzzer. I don't know. But her answer to that was a water bottle. And if you said the wrong word, she was just like this. And she was just ready to spray you in the face with the water bottle. And everyone was like trying to put up with it and be as good as we could, without getting sprayed. And we thought normally with a game, you pass the buzzer. No. Theresa wielded the spray bottle the entire night. I was like, isn't it my turn? Nope, it's mine. So Theresa would have a way of, we'd gather, she'd bring the fun, we'd roll our eyes, but we'd always end up playing the game and having the memories, and it was Theresa. Just couldn't help it. But I have a few more stories. Theresa is a very stylish person. She dressed so nice all the time, except once. Theresa had a sewing project for home ec, and see, this is a story, this is a legend in the family. She had to sew a tank top, and it would have been beautiful, it would have been fine, but the fabric she chose was a synthetic bluish green turquoise, silky, shimmery kind of fabric with, this is the kicker, like a cartoon lady dancing down these stairs repeatedly throughout her shirt. And we all looked at her like, are you gonna wear that out? That's a work shirt, right? That's for the pig barn? You're gonna wear that out, okay. But she just rocked it. She was very confident, and I think maybe she enjoyed us teasing her about it, actually. So
We've tried to find that fabric.
it would have been a great Sound of Music moment if we all would have shown up with the shirt, like the drapes from the Von Trapp kids, which, yes. Yes. So segueing from Von Trapp singers to Theresa singing, Theresa would sing, and we would all be singing to songs, and beautiful voice, lovely. But Theresa had a way of just singing her own lyrics. And we would look at her and think, what? What? That is not what Bon Jovi is saying. And she would go, why? What are the lyrics? So we would teach her the song, and she'd be like, okay. And she'd sing it for a little bit, and then sure enough, she'd go right back to her lyrics again. So we're all learning, and we all love Theresa, but sometimes just sing the wrong lyrics for her. Thank you.
I am not winging it like some sisters can. I am speaking about Theresa and her relationships, and this is a testament to what she was all about. Shoot.
Yeah,
Pinch me.
Squeeze them.
I'm right here.
That's the right up spot, right there. Everyone was drawn to Theresa, her smile, her openness, her kindness. She was funny, energetic, and loving. She maintained relationships with her childhood friends, her college friends, her Laverne and Alexandria friends, and she looked forward to every gathering with friends and family. And of course, her family, Roger, her 3 children, and her grandchildren were her pride and joy. She loved her children immensely and loved the grandchildren fiercely. She was very anxious to welcome her 2 grandchildren to the family in April. She was the entertainer, the game planner, and she always made sure the nieces and nephews were included. The nieces and nephews were very blessed by her with texts and phone calls and messages of support, and I know that all of this will be missed. Most recently, even though Theresa did not feel up to it, on pheasant hunting weekend, she was entertaining the grandchildren and making hot dog mummies, and they will have that memory forever. That's very nice. That's Theresa. I mean, she was sleeping all day, and yet she brought this along, and she was going to do it. She was selfless and drew out conversations with everyone. I mean, this would be her joy, seeing everybody here, and she'd want to talk to every single person here because that's who she was. Everyone gravitated towards her. She shined very brightly on earth, and I can't imagine what beauty she's bringing to heaven right now. She was not only our sister, but she was a very close friend. We miss you very much, and we'll love you forever.
Okay, I thought this was a good idea, but maybe not. Okay, if she was here, she'd slug me in the arm, but Theresa had so many friends, as it's been told. She was by far one of the most special people in my life, and we had a lot of fun, and Donnie and Roger had a lot of fun with us, and I can't tell you some of the things that happened between us because it's just not appropriate, but I have to tell you the game thing. She always wanted to play games, and every time we went to their house, let's play a game, let's play a game. And we'd all, the three of us would be, and she'd go, get your butt over here right now. You're gonna play cards. So we would. And, but one story that I need to tell you is we were a lot alike in the fact that we liked to tease, we liked to play games with each other. We had this thing where we liked to scare each other all the time. We really enjoyed scaring other people. We just didn't like being scared ourselves. And Donnie and I were on a cold winter January night walk one night. And we walked up the hill past their house, and I saw her in the window, and I said, let's run up and knock on the window, scare her. Well, we ran up to the living room window, and she wasn't there. She'd gone into the kitchen. This was totally my idea, not Donnie's. So anyway, then we ran around the kitchen window, and she was standing behind the counter, and I said, there she is. Let's scare her. I'm gonna pound on the window. And so I went, boom, 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 boom. She screamed. Roger shot up the basement steps, and the window shattered. I was mortified. I could not believe I broke their window. And so I opened the door, and we walked in, and I was from head to toe in black. And she goes, why would you do that? You know I have a heart condition. I felt so bad, but it was so funny. And when Roger ran up the steps, she goes, I think someone shot at me. But anyway, I'm gonna miss. Oh, I'm really struggling, I'm sorry. I'm really gonna miss her. And she was as close as a sister to me as possible. I have 3 sisters, but she was my 4th. And I loved her so much, and I love all you guys. Thank you for
I'm Theresa's friend Pam, and we spent countless hours with Bible study and with just talking. And yeah, I'm like Wendy, it's like losing a sister. But the story I have to tell, this was back in 2020 when Trump was running, and it was right before the election. And she calls me on Saturday and she goes, Pam, there's a rally in Pipestone. Do you want to go? And, well, I love politics. Theresa really doesn't, but I know she was doing it for me. So I said, sure. She goes, okay, you got to be ready in 10 minutes. We got to go. So we went, and we had so much fun. We're driving up and down the roads of Pipestone and honking the horn, and this car was coming. And I said, Theresa, he's giving us a thumbs up. And he got closer, and it was not a thumb. And Theresa, being Theresa, goes, we love you. And that's exactly, she really did. So I'm going to miss her terribly.
Anyone else?
I'm also Theresa's friend, Yvonne, and I also did daycare for the family. So I just have a lot of memories and just we just did a ton of Bible studies together, and she was my friend that, we would encourage one another and build each other up, and just have a lot of sweet talks.
This will be good.
First of all, if anybody has an extra pair of socks, Ethan needs them here. I noticed. Oh, maybe that's the way he wanted it to be. With Wendy telling you that Theresa was like a sister to her, she truly was. She was probably a better sister than her other sisters, so that's kind of a neat thing. I just had a story that Roger and I talked about the other day, and I just wanted to tell you about it, and I'll try to make it a little easier than what it actually was. We were having an evening with Roger and Theresa at their home, and a couple other people were there with us, and Theresa, I believe, was pregnant at the time. I'm not sure, with Megan. And, well, this explains things then. And we had different food items that were on the counter, and Theresa was putzing around, and a piece of fruit fell down, and it happened to be a grape. And Theresa bent down to pick this fruit up, and she had her backside towards us. Well, I believe the pressure from Megan in there created something, but something happened. And she slowly got up, and she turned around, and she said, "I'm so sorry." And I said, my eyes. And from that time on, you can't imagine how many pieces of fruit we have thrown on the floor and blamed it on Theresa when she would turn around. So this lady is going to be missed so much. And she was more than a friend. And we all know that she's in a great place now. Thanks.
Heard that last story because I always thought of Theresa as a beautiful lady. And I still do.
She's like a petunia.
Yeah.
I just want to thank everyone for being here and sticking around and hearing some stories. Theresa hated being the center of attention, but always loved a celebration. And I know that she's enjoying this one from her window seat in heaven. You know, Theresa became the most significant person in my life way back in 1985, 39 years ago, when I first showed up on her doorstep unannounced one evening. Prior to my first date with her, I'd introduced myself to her at the back to school teacher conference, asking if she was related to Keith Schellenkamp, who attended college where I was at in Northern, and it was her cousin. After that initial conversation, I started to find creative ways to bump into her after school. I think nowadays they call that stalking. A few weeks go by, and I'm bumping into her on a fairly regular basis. And her teaching partner at the time, Becky Renault, approached me in the hallway. And suddenly, for whatever reason, Theresa paused, looked down, and just looked like she didn't want to be there. There was an awkward moment of silence, and Becky said, "Theresa wanted to ask you to play on our co-ed volleyball team." And Teresa's blushing at this point. And so I just stared directly at her. And I said, wow, this feels a lot like junior high. And I'd love to play on your team. She absolutely just spun around and walked away as fast as she could. That was the first and only time in Theresa's life where she never had something to say. The next night, I think it was, I decided it was time to ask her out. And so unannounced, I knocked on her door, and she opened it and literally screamed and slammed the door in my face. And I thought, well, that went well. As fast as she slammed the door, she opened it back up. And of course, in Theresa fashion, fell all over herself, apologizing and, making whatever excuses she made. But at that point, our journey began. And as we got to know one another, we found first and foremost that we had this common faith in God, and that we were both, unfortunately, very competitive and also very stubborn. And I'm pretty sure God said when he put us together, well, this will be fun to see how this one turns out. And it has been fun along the way. I mean, a lot of you have all the stories of what a fantastically fun person she was. And of course, with any marriage, there were joys and challenges. And most of you know she fought cancer 30 years ago, and she survived and beat that. Many prayers were said on her behalf, and her faith was rock solid through it all. In 2018, as some of you may know, that's when she contracted congestive heart failure. And she fought valiantly during that time while maintaining her dignity and grace. A lot of people didn't even realize that, things were starting to change for her physically. But she fought through that, and she's really a warrior queen, is what she is. And she's treasured by all who knew her. And we all are better for having her in our life. And I was so blessed. I'm so grateful for her family and her brothers and sisters and her parents and the cousins, and just what a fantastic family that I was able to marry into. And these are the things and many, many more that I'll treasure in my heart. And thank you again for coming out tonight. If I didn't get to greet you, I'll hang around, and I know some of the parents got to put kiddos to bed and stuff, but thank you all for being here. It's just absolutely wonderful. So at this time, I think get up and move. Yeah, you are dismissed.